Today, we're talking about the biggest game announcements from GamesCom, like Borderlands 4, Dying Light, Indiana Jones, and more. Plus, we're taking a look at the top 10 game sales so far in 2024. Is your favorite on the list? Stick around to find out. Welcome, friends, to this week's episode of Good Playing With You, the weekly gaming podcast. I'm Dan Whitehill, and as always, I'm joined by our Good Playing Good buddies, Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
And Matt Maulding.
Hey now.
Before we jump into the headlines, let's check in with my exclusive Ensemble of Matts and find out what everyone's been playing this week. Lord?
We got that exclusivity this week, that's right. I jumped into some Counter-Strike this week. You guys had a couple rounds, just played some casual matches, no biggie. It's funny because, Maulding, you'll appreciate this. There are so many people talking on mics in Counter-Strike. Like,
really?
I don't even talk to anybody on Overwatch anymore. Have you noticed this?
No. Yeah. Only our group. I'm never on mic if I'm
There is nobody on mic in Overwatch 2. It's wild. And so when you get on Counter-Strike, you're like, wait, every single person is on a mic. And they're they're actually pretty decent. They're not crazy like I would have expected it to. It's not a super bad time. Very interesting. And I just that was a interesting takeaway from the Counter-Strike experience this week. Then I played some Helldivers. You guys got to look at the new update, and we played one suicide mission and we said that's enough. And we played an automatons round and it was just not fun. That's the only way to describe it.
Because of the difficulty? Because they're just bullet sponges, or what's the reason?
Just doesn't, I think, just after all is said and done with kind of the negative press on the nerfs and everything, I'm just not having a good time with it. It's just really impossible, especially fighting the robots. It's just onslaught after onslaught of these robots. It's just not, I don't know. It's just not inspiring.
Well, the risk
anymore.
Of sounding like a total puss bag, when that happens to me, I kick down the difficulty a notch or two, and then it's just okay, I'm not going to get all the glory and the rewards or whatever, and I'm not going to be the big badass, but at least I'm going to go in there. I'm just going to shoot some dudes, and it's going to be fun. So that's what I find I have to do.
I think that is the way to go for sure. And I don't think we were nearing the most impossible difficulty either. So I think it was I think it was suicide. Which one is that? Which one is suicide? Is that the third notch down from the top?
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
So it was we were just okay, whatever. And then we jumped into some Fortnite and played some Fortnite, and that was completely brutal. We got stomped.
Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, I didn't want to say this last week when you were all high on your wins, but it's a little bit of the matchmaking ranking. So as someone who goes in and plays Fortnite a lot, when you were on your high, it was because the system is trying to determine your level. And then I knew your bubble was going to be burst, but I didn't want to say anything because now that the system knows your level, it might challenge you a little too much. And then it's going to take a while basically to fluctuate. You're going to get wins again. It just won't be as often as your first time.
It was brutal.
Sorry, brother.
I mean, the players out there, it's funny because there's so many bots in Fortnite. Do you still play a lot of bots, Dan?
I do, but I love them because they're A, give me kills that are great for my battle pass, but B, they're like mules or treasure chests that are running around. They drop some loot, and sometimes they have good stuff, and most times they don't. But they're fun to kill. Yeah,
but when do you stop having bots in your lobby? Is there a certain point where it just becomes 100% players or no?
Not that I know of, but the bots will become fewer and far between. You'll only see the bots right in the beginning when you drop, and then you don't see bots again for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I've been super curious about that because I feel like
you're talking about bottoms, right? Bottoms is where you're
exactly. Exactly, bottoms. They're all over the place these days. That's been it for me. Good times, good little week of gaming.
Nice. Maulding?
Overwatch 2, the new season started on Tuesday, so I've been playing a lot of that. New character Juno joins the fight. She's super fun. healer, really mobile, can speed up your teammates, which I really like. That's a lot of fun. Her primary fire heals and damages enemies, which I like that.
So you don't have to you can literally shoot. It's one shot and it can either heal or damage at the same time. So it's not like Moira.
So I think I can't quite tell, but I think if, let's say, in front of you is your teammate and behind them is an enemy, your teammate is fully healed. I do not know if it passes through your teammate and then hits an enemy and damages them. I don't know how that works. I haven't quite got a grasp on that yet. But yes, she shoots like a burst of like 3 to 5 each shot. She's super fun. She has awesome. A double jump. Her mobility is fantastic, and she's super cute. And I really like playing as her.
Do you think she's gonna be like the meta character now? Is she that good or
no? I mean, I think. Yeah, I think you can't. I think Moira, at least at my level, Moira is the meta character because she always gets like DPS level damage and mercy level healing, and you can't replace that at my level with many other healers. Dan, do you have any idea what we're talking about?
I'm just grinning and nodding.
That's me when you guys talk about Helldivers. So and then we also have a review coming up next week, which I'm super excited for. Details under wraps, but I'm working on that game right now. So I'm super excited to bring that to our Good Playing With You listeners.
Heck yes.
Nice. I'll definitely look forward to that.
Yeah, same.
For me, I've been playing, of course, no surprise that 7 Days to Die. I'm gotten deep into the base building and the horde logic and trying to trick the computer and all that sort of stuff. So it's been amazing. I've also been playing, of course, a lot of Fortnite, and I started playing Dungeons of Hinterberg. Have you guys heard of this one? It's on a Game
Never
Pass.
even heard of it.
No.
Well, it's pretty good. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it later, but it's definitely worth checking out if you're in a lull between games and you need something Zelda-ish, and it's cel-shaded, and it takes place in the Swiss Alps and Austria. So definitely different. And
they all have healthcare there. That's really nice. I like playing a game where they all have healthcare.
Right? Because you can heal easier in the game too.
Exactly.
So it all makes sense. But I'm going to talk about that one a little bit more later in the show. So therefore, let's just hop right into the headlines.
Heck yeah.
All right. First up, we've got GamesCom. There were a lot of games announced, and it was super exciting. This took place in Cologne, Germany, and opening night was Tuesday with Jeff Keighley. And they showed off quite a few games. We're only going to talk about the highlights here, the big hitters and the ones that we're interested in, although there was a lot of stuff announced. First and foremost, Borderlands 4 finally was announced. Randy Pitchford, the head of Gearbox, had been teasing an announcement for quite some time. And then they swerved and avoided the movie altogether completely, which we'll talk about later, and did their announcement at Gamescom with their teaser trailer. So it didn't show off much gameplay, and we don't even really know what the look of it looks like, although the first three have been cel-shaded. So it's a good indication.
All looked exactly the same. So I can't imagine they're going to veer off too far.
Right. No real gameplay was shown, though. It was just a teaser. But what are you guys' reaction to this? Are you hyped at all?
I liked it. Was cool. I thought the teaser with the worlds colliding sort of visual, and then I was curious, Dan, because you're the borderline. Oh my gosh,
he is Borderlands. That is
true. Borderlands expert. What is the robot hand holding the psycho mask?
I don't think that we know that yet. If it's a character or what it was, it hasn't officially been identified. I do know that there was, they looked at one of the vault arches and they said it matched up with Handsome Jack's face. And so then everyone was like, oh my gosh, Handsome Jack's coming back. And then Randy Pitchford himself tweeted, it's not Handsome Jack, it's something far worse. So... And then he also tweeted there's more secrets to be found in that teaser trailer that people haven't found. So there's lots of rumors and speculation with not a lot being confirmed, but it has been fun, and I'm just happy that it's finally announced.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So the last Borderlands game, was it the one with the gravity?
No,
was
you're
that
thinking
okay?
of the pre-sequel, then Borderlands
Yes.
3 was
Okay.
after that, and then they
Okay.
did their spin-off of Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Yes, which we played a lot of that one, which was super fun. I
Yes,
really like
super
that one.
fun.
But I hated the gravity one. So
Yes.
that one soured me on the game incredibly.
I
Like
I
I
don't think I
didn't want to
played that
play it
one.
again after that. It was
There was something with
bad.
gravity? I didn't know about
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
First I'm hearing.
It was made
trash?
it was made by an Australian team, so it wasn't actually proper Gearbox proper. It was a spin-off. It was the pre-sequel. It just wasn't as good. I mean,
Mhm.
and there
It
wasn't
was
a lot of
not
DLC.
fun.
There's not, yeah. But 3 is
Yeah.
great. 3, they just added a little update where you can auto sell your guns the second you pick them up. I've been playing the shit out of it recently, to be honest with you.
Nice.
So I've been going through all of the DLC. It's been fantastic. So I'm super pumped for this one. I can't wait for it.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I also enjoy them, except for that one. I've enjoyed them as well. So I'll
Yeah,
probably
I mean,
not gonna. I think I'm done with the buying day one of a lot
What?
of games. So
That's when we
I
play
don't. I don't
together.
think
We
that's.
chant human
I
spine. We run around. It's
know.
fun.
I just don't know. Like just dropping $70 on a game without knowing anything about it these days is just a big. It's a big commitment.
it's risky. It's risky. You don't
Yeah,
know what you're gonna get. And
I've been burnt.
I mean, Borderlands though, that you can't really beat that co-op. It's been a while since I've
I
played
agree.
co-op with
I agree.
somebody, but did 3 have local co-op? Because really, that's what I'm most interested in. I love a local co-op.
You
I'm
and
not
Audrey
sure.
together,
Yeah, me and Audrey
blowing
just
dudes.
Yeah,
playing, blowing
exactly.
I
dudes
mean,
left
blowing
and right.
dudes away.
Yeah.
That's what we're going for. And I I mean, if it has local co-op, I would be very interested because I don't know who in the world I'd play with. It's definitely not gonna be Audrey, but I would love to get involved on a little local co-op. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I'll be online, so you're welcome to play with me.
There we go. There
All
we
right,
go.
moving forward with the Gamescom, the second game I want to talk about was Dying Light: The Beast. Now, this is a spin-off of Dying Light 2 in a completely different land and area that they've built for it. In fact, it was originally planned to be DLC, but because it became so big and it became its own world with its own story, and they're bringing back the initial protagonist, Kyle Crane, who we all thought died. So I guess they're gonna have to explain that one. They're bringing him back into it in its own little world. Then it became so big that they had a $40 spinoff that's going to stand on its own. I'm a super fan of Dying Light. What do you guys think? What's your reaction?
Maulding.
$40 is a great price point. Like that's a price point that I'll buy without knowing anything. And I also agree, Dying Light games I really enjoy. I've enjoyed both of the ones that they've put out. And so I think so Kyle Crane, you had a choice at the end of the first one, spoiler alert, whether to kill yourself in some sort of like blaze of glory or turn yourself into a zombie, right? Like there were two options, I think. So if this is a continuation, it certainly looked like in that trailer he had some powers. So
Yeah, that's what I thought
maybe
too.
he turned himself into a zombie. They're using that one as the canon ending, and you have some like zombie powers, which would be super cool. I would
I'm
play
in.
the shit out of that.
Yep, me
So
too.
This one's gonna have like a Mr. X type character following you, yeah? Is that
I
what
guess
I
the Beast.
understand?
Yeah.
The
So the
Beast?
trailer opens with the Bravo Squad or whatever, the military in the jungle, and a la Predator. This Beast comes
Yeah.
out, wipes them out, and then we see Kyle Crane from a distance watching it all go down, and then we see actually gameplay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. So it is gonna be like a little you think it's gonna be actually set in the jungle then? Like
It's definitely
or
its own
forest or
area.
something?
It's going to be at least 18 to 20 hours. It has been confirmed that they will be bringing back vehicles for better or worse because while I loved the
Nice.
following the first DLC in the first game, I didn't absolutely love the vehicle gameplay, but it did look kind of interesting in this one, and I mean they got me regardless. So
Sweet.
I mean, it's been
Yeah.
seven years or so since the first one, so maybe hopefully they've took to heart any complaints people had about the vehicles and improved on it.
yeah. Well, my thing is the traversal of running through the game is the best part. Like jumping from
Yeah, the
building to building, the
parkour.
parkour. Oh, it's phenomenal. And when you put vehicles
Yeah.
in this world, you're taking away from the parkour. You're making it so you have to travel long distances in this thing, and it's just not as cool as jumping off the top of a building and trying to reach the window of another building. They just can't replicate that. So that's my one concern. And then my second concern, not to harsh anyone's buzz, and Maulding, you know this just as well as I do. The second
How
one
you like to
launched.
harsh my buzz? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
I know that
well,
a
that's
lot.
part of that. Yes, A, and then B. The second one launched so buggy. There were like missions we
Oh
couldn't
yeah,
complete.
yeah.
There were characters with their heads spinning off that we couldn't
I
talk to.
remember those
Like,
ones. A classic.
yes, they launched that game rough. And so my concern is, although we don't have a launch date or a window or even like time period at all for this one, I don't want them Techland to release another game like the last one.
Oof. We can only hope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. Okay, moving on. The third game I wanted to talk about was Indiana Jones. They finally gave us a date, which is October 9th. I'm super pumped about it. But then they also announced that it's coming out on PS5 in spring 2025. What do you guys think about this?
Interesting. We're losing it. Xbox. Come on. We need some exclusives here. And I couldn't believe that they announced that like this week. I was seriously surprised. They didn't even wait till the game was launched on Xbox. I was shook.
And it's not even a long
Yeah.
wait time.
Yeah. It's not long at all.
So won't people who own an Xbox, don't have Game Pass, also own a PS5? They're going to buy it on PS5. Like they're just going to wait until they buy it then, right? Because if they're
Good
not a super
chance.
fan enough of a game of Xbox to have Game Pass, they're just going to wait and get it on PS5, I guess. I don't know.
It's so hard to say because I wonder why they did it so early. Dan, do you have any theories?
Yes. So
Perfect.
there was an interesting interview with Phil Spencer, and he said when they asked about the exclusivity timeline and what the decision-making process was like, he bluntly said, look, Microsoft as a corporate overlord has been very generous with us. And that's an understatement given the acquisition, Blizzard, acquisition. And he's like, we need to return on their investment. So it is purely a financial decision. They want money now. They don't want to build a platform for later. They're willing to sacrifice console sales to make their corporate parent happy.
Wow. Interesting.
I think the problem that they're going to have is the game looks like poo. It looks really bad, guys. It looks like a VR game. I watched the trailer again today, and I'm like, this is what they're putting out. It looks really bad. And even free on Game Pass, I have no interest in playing it.
I second that, Maulding. And if you need Troy Baker to like shill it out, I'm like, that's not good. I'm sorry, guys, but like the game should sell itself. It's Indiana Jones, and so you're having Troy Baker step in and try to sell you on it. That makes my alarm bells were like ringing, and I still think I'm dying on this hill. It's not you're not going to be playing as Indiana Jones for a lot of this game, so just buckle up. You're not playing Indiana Jones.
I think that's a good theory.
It is.
No, I think you're crazy. I think you're totally crazy.
No,
of course you are.
You're going to be playing half this game as not Indiana Jones. I'm just saying. We'll come back. Let's reconvene on that. Let's remember, and we'll come back.
I will write this down. Yes, we're going to talk about this. I think my problem with it is I want to love it. I am definitely going to play it. I'm here for it, even though Indiana Jones isn't as cool as he used to be. But my problem is I judge every single game by the movement and locomotion that you've got in Fortnite as well as Destiny. Those games, the character movement, the running, the sliding, the shooting, the jumping, phenomenal. That's what makes those games so fun. It's so fluid. And that's one of the things that makes me curious about the Call of Duty thing. They keep talking about Omni movement. I'm here for Omni movement. Let's just say Indiana Jones looks stiff. And I don't mean that as a dig on Harrison Ford. I mean that the game doesn't look like it has Omni movement. It doesn't look like it has Fortnite or Destiny 2 movement. It looks like it's going to be on rails, kind of like Maulding said, kind of VR. And that has me the most concerned for it.
And they keep saying you'll feel every punch. I'm like, I'm not feeling any of these punches. They look totally like just very basic. Like I don't get what's going on.
Everything's very scripted.
Am I going to feel bored by it? Because that's how I felt. Yeah.
It just looks scripted and very on rails. I'm glad it's coming to Game Pass because I am not super, interested in.
No, I would never buy it.
Actually, one thing that stood out to me in this trailer that actually had me a little excited is like the camera that you can like take pictures of stuff and it like gives you information. I thought that was actually cool. I like that little tiny detail.
Yeah,
where
it was
you can,
cool back in Metroid Prime days too. Like,
but also, wait a minute. You take.
Sorry.
I mean, that like got me a little excited. I was like, cool, you can take a picture, like, and you can get information about like a certain ruin.
And
like,
develop it 3 months later because we're in the like 1940s.
True.
Yeah, right.
No digital cameras back in the day. That's fair.
That's so funny. All right, moving on. Any last games you guys want to talk to?
I totally did. They put out the release date of Marvel Rivals, which I am super pumped for. It's going to be in December, and they announced that all of the characters are going to be released to you free. So every character you won't have to pay extra to play all the characters, which is something that Overwatch 2 made the mistake of right at the beginning of putting those new characters behind paywalls or a long period of playtime to get a hold of them, and they reversed that. I'm glad that Marvel Rivals is starting right off the bat with it. I'm super excited for that. They had a Civ, I think it's Civ 7. I think it was Civ 7 or Civ 6.
I think you're right, 7.
I love the Civilization games. Super pumped for that. Usually I see that they come out on PC first and then on consoles a little bit later. Everything's releasing at the same time for that. Super excited. And then there was one called King Meat. I think it was King Meat. And I just like that. I just really like that. The King name. So a little props to King Meat.
Nice. The one game that like really stood out for some reason was that Heardling game. I really thought that was cool.
Which one?
It was like you're the boy with the stick and you're herding like these buffalo like creatures, and it looks like gave me very like Shadow of the Colossus-ish type.
Can you murder them? Can you murder them?
I don't think there's gonna be any murder.
I think you lose the game if you murder your shadow.
I think you're not murdering them.
You can't rip out their spines.
No spinal ripping that I saw. There might be. There could be a big twist. It looked very like mellow, like walking sim, So Death Stranding hit me up. Like it just it felt very like it just felt like pretty. A vibe. Yeah, it looked pretty, and I was like, this looks like a unique take on something. It could be fun. Like gives me Shadow of Colossus. I'm there. Dan's like, no, I hate it.
Yeah, well, it definitely sounds like a snooze fest so much that I can't even remember watching the trailer. So. I'll be very curious to hear what you have to say about it, and hopefully like it. But moving on, speaking of games,
one more Monster Hunter Wilds. That's the other one I got to put up there because that looked beautiful.
I texted you when that came on. I was like, dude, this is amazing. It looks so good.
It looked like Monster Hunter World with current gen technology.
Yeah, it looked great.
So pumped for that one. That one, I'll buy day one.
Nice.
And I will listen to your review on day 2. But I'm not getting to day 1 because I made that mistake last time, and the multiplayer was so convoluted, and whatever. We'll just wait and see.
You're just bad at games. It's fine.
All right, moving on. Speaking of games that are super popular, is out of nowhere a phenomenon called Wukong. So, Maulding, you had this story, and I want to add to it because I got some stats that are impressive.
So, Black Myth Wukong makes a record-breaking debut on Steam. It came out this week and just like ripped into these stats. So it is already breaking records on Steam. It is currently the top played game on Steam. This was as of a couple days ago when it first released. Had a peak of 2,151,942,000 concurrent players at the time of writing. That puts developers.
Yes, that's second because PUBG still has the highest at over 3 million concurrents.
Correct. It had 3.2 million in January of 2018.
All right, you
So
know your
it
shit.
surpassed Elden Ring, Dota 2, Cyberpunk, Counter-Strike 2, and Pal World, which came out earlier this year, all of which held formable concurrent player records. It is available only on PS5 and Windows PC at the moment. Um, Again, Xbox just missing the
I
opportunity to
know.
get in on this kind of stuff. They I feel like they fumble constantly, but there's a little bit of controversy about
That's
it
funny.
because it is a very Chinese game. It is
Hmm.
a Chinese created game, so there's a lot of conversations going on about Chinese censorship and how do you review a Chinese game when there's so much censorship going on. I don't really want to get into all that stuff, but Polygon called the game an epic saga that's both confounding and spectacular to behold. And yeah, is this a game either of you are interested in picking up with all this news?
There's a serious obsession going on with monkeys right now. Like, you got
Yes, a lot
Planet
of
of the
TV
Apes.
shows.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's just monkeys everywhere, and I just am like at a monkey max, but people seem to keep buying in. I don't think I'm going to be picking this one up. Just
Me
saying.
either, but I did a little research to try and find out like what's going on here. Why is this so freaking popular? This is, the beginning of the year, everyone was talking about Pal World, and this one's knocking it off its pedestal in one fell swoop, just one little monkey smack. And someone wrote something on Reddit that I wanted to share with you guys that I thought was really interesting. This was came from, I believe, VG247, but they quoted this guy on Reddit who said, "Do people not realize that this game means for Chinese people? I've seen comparisons to Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and other fandoms, but it's much, much deeper than that. Imagine a story your entire family knows and grew up with themselves, with a plot that is your culture and your religion, with hundreds of different characters you've known and loved your entire life. It's astounding what this game means to the people of China. I live in China and I've been playing it nonstop. My wife is Chinese and her grandparents were over for dinner and could name every single character on the TV, no matter the scene. It was insane." So I think
Whoa,
it has to,
that's
it
crazy.
definitely, yeah, I think it's very culturally relevant. Like, yes, we see it as a fun action game that's kind of tough and interesting, but this has cultural significance to them. And I think that's what's blowing the doors off here.
And I would like to know, is there just like a huge uptick in Chinese players right now too? Is
Yeah,
that like
those
a thing?
numbers, I know those numbers I think only 2% of those numbers, 2 or 3% were US. The
Okay.
rest of it was the rest
Yeah.
of the world and China. Like it
And
was definitely
Yeah.
Chinese doing those numbers.
and what Maulding kind of alluded to earlier was like the censorship and the Chinese government. Not every game gets to, be released in there. So it's very picky choosy in what they, have. And their gaming scene hasn't traditionally been as robust as in the West. But definitely has some power behind it. We're seeing once games get through. They do have their own digital store. I don't remember the thing of it, but they don't do Steam and all that sort of stuff there. So yeah, it's just phenomenal.
That's wild. I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Well,
I
good for them.
honestly, it's very interesting. That is a very interesting take about the like I didn't know the significance of the release. I
Neither did
really
I.
thought it was truly a just like a new IP or something. I wasn't
I did
familiar.
too, but I was like, now I'm educated. Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Really
Thought that
cool
was interesting.
actually. Yeah.
Yep, definitely cool. All right, so just circling back now
No.
for our next story, talking about our precious and beloved Borderlands. Molding, you had something about the Borderlands movie.
Me again. Barely 3 weeks after its $90 million opening weekend flop, the Borderlands movie is going to streaming already. So this doesn't mean that you'll be able to watch it on like a Netflix or a Hulu. This just means you'll be able to do the rental or the purchasing. But it just this movie, man. We called it from the very beginning. I'm sure we're not the only ones that called it.
Yeah.
All of us said it just looked so bad. It was PG-13. This is an R-rated game. Right there, you've alienated a whole segment of the population that are going to be super excited for it. But they had their second weekend. They weren't even in the top 10. So they went from like third or fourth on their first weekend to a huge drop to 11th place on their second weekend, which just makes it one of the biggest flops of the year. Poor Lionsgate. The reported production budget was between 110 and 120 million dollars, and it is just gross about 21 million. And I can't imagine it's going to make any more money in theaters, so they're pushing it to streaming and to digital platforms. And yeah, I'm not even going to watch it there. Maybe I'll watch it when it comes out on Hulu or one of the streamers, but I'm certainly not going to spend any money. It just looks so bad.
I heard it's not even like a hate watch. It's not even hate watchable. It's that bad. It's like so bad.
I love Borderlands so much. I'm going to watch it for you guys so that I can come back and tell you how bad it is. Although when they first released it streaming, it's always a $20. I'm going to wait for the $6 one. So might be a month.
The rental, the $6 when it comes out in rental.
Yeah,
that'll be about 3 weeks or so.
Yeah,
I just feel bad for like it. How sad would it be to show up at the theater? At least for me, it would, because I never go to the movies. I hardly ever get to go. So it's like if I went to the movie theater being so stoked and I saw that movie, I would be so disappointed. I'd be like, this. Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen it. Who knows? Maybe some people like, and this is the funny thing about movies is like some people like the worst rated movie could be somebody's favorite movie of all time.
Hudson Hawk is one of my favorite movies, and that movie is terrible. People hate that movie, and I love it.
And that's the thing. Like some people could be like, I love this movie, like strikes a chord with me. I don't know if that's
I don't think that's the case for this one. I don't think there's anyone that feels that
way. Oof. Then
that's
big oof. But yeah, video games, we had such a good run there with Fallout and The Last of Us. As TV shows, we had some great IPs that made it to TV and movies, but this one, just a big miss.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk real quickly about things that aren't such a big miss. They released the 2024 best-selling games in the US so far list. This came from GameSpot, and I just want to talk about it because I found it very, very interesting. So I'm curious to see if you guys can name some of the ones on the top 10, because I was surprised by them. But I also want to say, ruin number one for you real quick, because I was really surprised by that one. This is an article from GameSpot that says, Circana, the research group formerly known as MPD, has published its latest monthly U.S. sales report revealing which games have sold the best during the year so far. After July's data is accounted for, there is one major change. EA's College Football 25 had a gigantic launch. CFB 25 was the first new entry in EA's series in 10 years, dating back to NCAA Football 14 and 2013. There was a ton of built-up demand for this, and the results speak for themselves. Launch month dollar sales of EA Sports College Football 25 more than tripled the total lifetime sales of the previous best-selling college football game, NCAA Football 07. Matt Piscatella said, after just 1 month on sale, College Football 25 is already 2024's best-selling game of the year so far.
That's wild.
So that is super crazy. Like, we're used to like Madden and Call of Duty and all that sort of stuff, but here was a dormant franchise that they brought back, and doggy, there was an audience just licking their chops waiting for it. It is phenomenal. In 1 month, they topped the charts. I was blown away, which made me think, okay, guys, can you name any games that are on the rest of the top 10 slots?
So these games don't have to necessarily have come out this year. It's just they're the top selling games of this year.
Correct. Correct. Yes.
Diablo 4, is that on the list?
No.
Oh, strike one.
I think one of the still a higher selling is GTA 5 still on that list?
GTA 5 is number 18.
Oh, okay. That's a little high. All right, Red Dead 2.
Nope.
Oh, come on, Lord.
No, these things still are selling. It's crazy. Okay, Maulding, we need to
Tears of the Kingdom.
Nope.
Is Tears of the Kingdom on there?
No.
Oh my gosh. What Nintendo games
Elden Ring,
came out this year?
Elden Ring. Look at this.
Good one.
Yes, Elden Ring is number 6.
Okay, that was good.
Harry Potter.
Yes. Well, Harry Potter's number 11. So
11.
it's on the
Okay, so
list,
that
but
is
Maulding. We need to
I
we need
know,
to
what
dig in here.
we're
What has come out?
video game journalists. We should
I
know
know.
what has
I
been
know.
out this year.
We need to be better. I'm trying to think. Stellar Blade, is that anywhere on there?
Oh, good one. Oh,
Not Stellar
jeez.
Blade. Jeez, what are the PlayStation exclusives that have recently come out?
None that we've been talking about that, haven't we? Haven't we been talking about that for weeks?
Oh, how
We
about
haven't had
Pal
anything.
World? Pal World.
nope.
No.
No.
Wow. Our Horizon Zero Dawn.
No.
I don't know that one
Okay, you
was in
guys
the
are
top
thinking
10 when it
about
came out.
yeah. You guys are thinking about the games we like to play.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Fortnite. Well, that doesn't count.
No.
That doesn't count.
I do love that
Madden then. Madden has to be on
Yes.
there.
Let's see. Madden from last year was number 12.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow. All
Dang.
right. I give up. Give us the list.
Yeah. Give us
All
the
right.
list.
So this is interesting. Starting at number 10 was Tekken 8.
Oh.
Not even on my radar.
No.
Mine either. 9, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
Oh, of course. Oh, that's so silly. Of course that one.
We should have
8 is WWE 2K24.
Should have.
Not on my radar. Yep. No.
Number 7, MLB The Show 24.
I don't even know what that is.
Not surprised.
I mean, I know it's Major League Baseball, but I would have no idea. Yeah.
Lord got Elden Ring at number 6.
Nice.
Okay, number 5, and I wouldn't have even known what this was, except for my nephew Jake told me about it. Is EA Sports MVP bundle. So what this is, and this is the really mind-blowing thing here, is EA was smart. They bundled for $150. You can get the Madden game and the college football game. So technically, that college football game is on the top 10 list twice. It sold as number 1 game, but then it also sold in a bundle with Madden at number 5.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah. People
just
like
printing money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, Dragon's Dogma 2.
Oh, I'm shocked that that's still on the list.
I'm shocked.
Actually.
Well, you and
I'm
I
shocked.
fell for it. I think it was the time that it kind of came out. There wasn't like
I guess that's true. We're not talking about like games that are popular this month. It's for the whole year. Yeah.
Number 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah, stupid.
Makes sense.
Of course.
I should have known.
Number 2, I'm surprised you didn't get, was Helldivers 2.
Oh. Wow.
I know.
We're bad at this, Lord. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we did not do very well. But Helldivers, like, I'm surprised by a lot of those, but Helldivers and Dragon's Dogma, and that's crazy. Those are like I would have never thought or suspected.
I know,
but
it is crazy. You can never tell what a game's gonna sell. And
I mean, I'm happy that Dragon's Dogma 2 is on there because of the genre of game. I love that that genre of game is popular, and I want to see more of that, but not necessarily that game. I don't necessarily need more of that game.
No more, please.
No, I hear you. I definitely agree. Speaking of games that have the potential to sell, or maybe not, is Concord. Lord, you had a story for this one.
Yeah, so this is interesting. It was revealed by, let's see, let me just fire up this article. It was revealed by the lead character designer, John Wisnowski. He revealed that it took 8 years of development to get Concord out the door. And when I heard that number, I just thought, oh my gosh, that is exactly why this game could potentially be DOA. It's just 8 years of development. Like, I mean, when did Overwatch 2 has been out for like 3? So it's like they were trying to capture Overwatch
and then
1
Overwatch.
magic.
Yeah, exactly. So Overwatch 1 came out and they were like, we need a game. We need to put out a game like this. And then 8 years later.
And this
and
yeah, I mean, we're recording this episode on Thursday. Concord comes out tomorrow. So are you guys? It does. Comes out.
I had no idea.
Me either.
Comes out on my birthday,
sign.
boys. Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea about that either.
Yeah.
So Big's birthday Concord celebration, I guess. I
Well,
just
happy birthday, Lord, when you're listening to this tomorrow.
thank you. I
Yeah.
I just was so shook here. I mean, 8 years, that's so much time. And I just think this is a very common thing for a lot of games where you get into some sort of boardroom or I don't, like the conference where they're like, we need a hero shooter, like Maulding said, and then they cook up this idea, and then man, it takes like so much has changed. Now they probably would want it to be almost like a Helldivers type of game. I don't know, like I'm sure they wish they pivoted it in some other direction where I don't think hero shooters are. I mean, now with Marvel's coming out, it has no room in the space. I don't know. What do you think,
I
Dan?
agree. DOA for sure.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it because I want people, if they love it, to play it.
Yeah.
But I was never a fan of Sony's decision to pivot from single player narrative focused games to multiplayer. And I know that they had a hard time with their Last of Us multiplayer, and that eventually got canceled. And this one, it sounds like they're having a hard time too. Their change to multiplayer is definitely, out of their comfort zone and what their studios are used to. So we're seeing them struggle a little bit. And I can't say that that's the worst thing.
Yeah. It has to be skins driven, right? You got like I mean, I know we've said
It's
monetization
money.
over and
It's
over.
all money. Yeah. They just want money.
Maulding, what were you
I'm
gonna say?
still
Sorry.
I'm still stung by that reveal cinematic that they put out, and I want to play that game. I don't want to play the game that they ended up making with it. 8 years. I mean, that's half as long as what GTA 6 has taken to make. So I
Right.
mean, it's wild. And no, I'll wait to see what people think of it, and then I think it's coming out at like a $40 or $50 price point,
It's
though, too.
$40.
Right?
$40.
So I mean, that's smart. That's smart
Yep.
on them, not to make it 70. So that's something, but it's going to be just filled with microtransactions to make.
I'll pick it up
for
on sale, I think. That's my
maybe,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe if it isn't
After
deal.
that, I mean, at that point, it's dead, and no one's going to be
Yeah,
playing it anyway. So I
that's
don't know.
right.
We'll see. Maybe
Yeah.
time will tell.
Exactly. All right, moving on. Let's move into the listener emails of the week. First up, Lord.
Yeah, so this is my little discussion for you guys because I was just sitting, I'm like, wow, like speaking of long times, I'm like, what modern game right now, maybe in the last 4 years, whatever, do you think will age well and like 20 years down the line, it'll be remembered as like a fantastic game. You could pop it into the PlayStation and give it a go. Like, what do you guys think? Give me your game.
I really do think Diablo 4 has legs. So it's a great game that's going on right now. Diablo 3 was beloved for a long time. It had good legs, maybe 10 years of legs. I think because of if they keep on putting out new classes, I think, and eventually make them free for people and not behind the DLC, that would help with it. They are doing these seasons. We'll see how long they keep those seasons up. Diablo 3 had seasons for a long time. 20 years might be a little long. It might not be. I think it'll still be going strong in 10. 20 is a little iffy, but Diablo 4 is my guess.
It's not a bad take because Diablo 2 is still getting
Yeah.
ran all the time.
And
So how that have been 20 years. So if this one
yeah,
is
so it's a good
holds
chance.
up,
Yeah.
you could do it.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
What's yours, Dan?
For me, I went back to like when I was younger and I was like thinking about the graphics of the games when we grew up and how ugly that they were, as we got a little bit older. And one of the games that aged phenomenally well was the Zelda game, the one Wind Waker, because
Ooh.
of the cartoonish look. So then I was like, okay, well, that one aged phenomenally. Maybe they're going to do it again with Breath of the Wild. And that, I think it's just that game was able to kind of pivot, make some changes, focus on its powers and its puzzles and all that sort of stuff although it didn't have dungeons, so that might be a knock against it. But also its graphic style, because it's more cell shaded, is going to age really well. I feel like cell shaded games, while not everybody loves them and everyone seems to go after the realistic style, which I love the realistic style, don't get me wrong, I definitely prefer it. Those games typically don't age very well, and the cell shaded ones do. And so that's why my pick is Breath of the Wild.
Great
but
pick.
not Tears of the Kingdom.
One of them. Both of them.
What?
They're going to be seen.
Gotcha.
I think they're going to be seen as like a duo. When you talk about one, and then you talk about the other. I don't know.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I could see
Maybe.
them like release. I
But
mean,
Breath
they
of the
probably
Wild's
already
first.
are like a bundle, like they would for that Madden game and
Yep.
the college football
Yeah,
game.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then they're going to charge us the full price. It's probably
Yeah.
going to be up to like $150.
$120. Yeah,
exactly.
Oh my god.
Nintendo never lowers their
No.
prices, so it's gonna be
a full price game at $150 for the two of them.
And this might be a little controversial, but in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think Returnal is going to be a game that people are going to look back on and
Okay,
say,
I
this
think
is
this
the
is a
game.
crazy one. So yeah, what is
Yeah.
your thought process on this one?
I truly think the procedurally generated levels that this game comes with are actually awesome. I actually don't like procedurally
Me
generated
either.
stuff at all, but this game, the levels
Diablo.
are actually done
Diablo.
Diablo. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's probably done pretty darn well too. But this is like,
No.
yeah, I mean, this is a third. Oh, is it bad?
Don't listen to Dan.
No.
After
This
many
is-
years of knowing him, just go on. Don't listen to him.
This like, well, okay, this is a little different because it's a third person shooter, and it is very like, it feels like you're going through like a control like level or something, like it's well crafted and you can barely tell that it's procedurally generated. And there is so much there's so much loot, there's so many different variations with the weapons, there's so many different ways you can play these games. It's almost never ending, and I always find myself firing. I'll play like one little run because you'll try to get from one point all the way to, it can take forever. That was sort of actually probably a knock against the game initially because you couldn't like save it.
Yeah.
And that was a big pain point, but they've fixed that. I really think this game, I still think it's the best game that's actually available on the PS5. And if they don't come out with any good games, it'll stay that way in my book. But I think this game will really like, you'll look back and be like, where did procedurally generated games that are really good and they craft good levels, like where would that come from? And I think this is the game that you'll look back to.
Is it available on their like subscription service to play for free? Do you know? Because I've never played this game. I don't know anything about it.
I think it was, at least at some point. I remember there being something, but I bought it a while. It was like one of the first games I bought, and I was kind of unsure about it. I was like, "What is this game?" And I feel like it's gone so under the radar. So that's my pick.
Yeah, definitely for me.
All right. Well, definitely sounds interesting. I think it could be a good pick. I'll have to play it before I totally tell you you're crazy.
For sure.
All right, moving on. We got an email in from Terry in Texas. Actually, this is a text message. It's my buddy Crypto, and he said he wanted to send a message in because he was listening, and he wanted to send a message to you, Lord, essentially about the Rock Band kind of Fortnite experience of he actually went and bought the guitar himself because he was interested and a super fan of it as well. Mm-hmm. So he did buy it. It was $130, and he wrote me after he got it, and he said, "You need to talk about the guitar in the podcast. I give it an easy 4.5 out of 5. It's not as big as heavy as the originals, and they added new things. Like there's no more need for batteries. It's rechargeable like a PS controller. It has a headphone jack built in. It's collapsible, so it easily gets put away. I honestly thought the price tag of $129 was high, but now no, I want another. If someone misses playing Rock Band, it's clearly an upgrade to the old peripherals. Plus, you can use it on Rock Band and Fortnite Festival."
That's awesome. Well, I mean, What is Fortnite Festival? I don't even know. That sounds
That's
so
the
cool.
Rock Band mode in Fortnite that I was telling you about, where you can go in there and buy music, and you earn XP for your battle pass and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, I didn't realize that you could get like, I didn't know you could use the peripheral for that. That's so cool. I thought it may be just like how you would.
No, that's
like,
what I was explaining to you like a week ago or so.
That's so cool. Wait, that's sweet. So wait, it's $130 though. That's kind of a little
that's
pricey.
steep.
Yeah, I love that though.
He was sold. He's in love with it. So if you're interested in recreating the magic, there's definitely that option for you.
I'm telling you, I would think about it. Maybe, I mean, my birthday is tomorrow. Audrey,
Yeah,
you hear
exactly.
this? I need a $130 Guitar Hero.
Nice. All right, gentlemen. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up everything that we've got today. And on behalf of the
We're everywhere now, by the way. We're everywhere. You can find
and we
us
have our own
everywhere.
website. Yeah, so check out our goodplayingwithyou.com, which we've been working hard on. And Maulding just put up a great article today.
Thank you.
But besides that, on behalf of the Good Playing With You crew, Matt Lord, Matt Maulding, myself, Dan Whitehill, have a great weekend. And as always, good playing with you.
Good playing with you.
Good playing with you.